Have you ever had all the strategy pieces in place? Your niche is clear, your offers make sense, your pricing is intentional, and your content plan is mapped out. And yet, your business, it still feels like something isn't progressing the way that you wanted or expected. Or maybe it just feels heavy or icky. You're doing the right things based on what other people have shared with you, but something just feels off. Now, if that's happening, that is an alignment problem, and it's interfering with your strategy techniques. In the Sustainable Growth Framework series that we're currently in, last week we talked about foundation, and today we are going to talk about your heart, or how to align to the strategies. Because you can build this clean, logical, well-structured strategy and framework and still feel resistance toward it. And when resistance shows up despite that clarity, it usually means that there are one of three areas of alignment that are missing. And that is what we are going to talk about today. So the first thing that can be misaligned is our identity alignment. And when we think about this, we're looking at, does this business reflect who I am right now? Not who I was when I first started or a few years ago. Many multi-passionate professionals, they build businesses based on an earlier version of themselves, and then they grow, and their interests, they get stronger or deeper, and their voices evolve, and their values, they get sharper. They know what they really want. But the business model can stay frozen. And when your identity evolves, but your positioning doesn't, that's when you can see friction begin. So that is the first area that you want to look at when you're looking at alignment. The second area is your values alignment. And within this one, we're looking at, does your strategy match what you want to actually prioritize in this season? Now, if you value depth, but your model requires this high volume churn, you are going to feel that. If you value flexibility, but your calendar is rigid and packed, you are going to feel that. If you value thoughtful work, but your marketing, it feels pushy or urgent or really, really noisy, you are going to feel that. And misalignment with values, they don't always look super big or super apparent. Oftentimes, they are subtle things that you notice, like procrastinating or not following through or starting a new project. So values alignment is a big area that you want to check out. And then the next area of alignment is the season alignment. This is the area where we're looking at your level of growth and if you're pushing for alignment with your current capacity in life. So sometimes the strategy that we have is really sound, right? Especially if we're working with someone else, we might come up with these great ideas of how to make it work. But the strategies might belong to the other person, or they might belong to the future version of you. And when you try to operate from that future capacity with this present bandwidth, exhaustion will follow. Now, here's the important part in that, because all of us want to get to that future self, right? But alignment is not about chasing comfort. It's not about chasing who you want to be. It's about identifying who you are right now and growing within that, because growth is going to stretch you. And visibility will stretch you. So raising your standards will stretch you, but you have to start in the place that you are right now. Otherwise, you will burn out. So how do we bring the heart work into that foundation work that we talked about last week? Well, it's not about abandoning strategy. The strategies that you have may be really helpful, but it just requires a little bit of tweaking. And that is why we focus on auditing instead of just continuing to go and hope that it works. And so this is where I want to introduce what I call alignment audit. What you're going to do here is you're going to take your current strategy, your offers, your positioning, your revenue model, your content themes, and I'm going to have you review them from 3 questions. The first question is, does this reflect who I am becoming? The second question is, does this match what I actually value right now? And the third question is, does this fit my current season of capacity? And as you ask yourself these 3 questions, just remember that you are not asking whether it's profitable or impressive. You're just asking questions to identify if the strategies that you are going to use are true to who you are and your values. Because when strategy is misaligned, you will unconsciously resist it. You'll delay launches, you'll tweak messaging endlessly, you'll feel oddly disconnected from your business even though you're in it all the time. But when structure and alignment work together, you are going to find that clarity becomes stronger and your momentum gets faster. You stop fighting your own plan and you stop trying to motivate yourself into something that doesn't fit. And the end goal is that you start refining instead of rebuilding. So if your business isn't progressing or is progressing but still feels really heavy, don't immediately rewrite your strategy. Just run the alignment audit. Look at your identity alignment. Look at values alignment. Look at that season alignment and adjust accordingly. Sometimes that adjustment is small, maybe just a messaging shift, maybe a client focus refinement, maybe a pricing recalibration. And sometimes it's bigger, like letting go of something that you've outgrown. But alignment does not require chaos or continuing to wait until things just work out. It requires honesty and stepping into whether the strategies match who you are. So next week, we are going to move into the mind work layer because sometimes your strategy is solid and your alignment is strong, but those old beliefs keep getting in the way of success. But please don't skip ahead. Not quite yet. Just take a moment right now to complete that audit because the phrase, "I'll come back to this," usually means that it's going to end up in the someday pile. So right now, your task is simple. Run the alignment audit. And remember that sustainable growth, it isn't just about building something that works. It's about building something that fits. And once you are done running your audit, I would love to hear below one thing that you took away from today's episode and share it in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you next week, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss it as well. I look forward to seeing you next week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and I will see you next time.